In every situation, the creatures, those that are, as it were, created or appear to have been born, are experiencing experience. That is to say, I don't experience the flat that I live in. I experience my experience of the flat that I live in. Because what is the flat? If I say, I experience the flat as it is, and a little mouse runs across the floor and squeaks at me, said, "Oh, James, you're crazy. I live in this house too. It's not your house." The mouse has an experience that is not my experience, but it has an experience. So this is at the heart of the Heart Sutra. We don't experience things, we experience interpretations, imaginations, the revelation of what arises in our mind. You cannot step out of your mind. Now, you might think, well, the wall is not just something imagined. James, if you go and bang your head on the wall, it's going to be very sore. That is dependent origination. Soft flesh on a hard surface, then some pain will arise. The pain that I feel is an experience. It doesn't prove that there is a wall existing outside my experience. It means I can experience the wall delicately or in a rough manner, but it will always be as experience. So, as it says, from every level of the Buddha's teaching, the mind is chief. We begin with the mind, everything ends with the mind, whether you're eating or walking or talking, if you're in the shower, going to the toilet, everything is experience. You go to the doctor with a pain, he says, "Oh, how does that feel? Is it sore here? Is it sore there?" He's asking about your experience. And if the doctor cuts you open, what they will experience, you probably wouldn't. If you saw your insides, you might want to vomit. You might be scared of the blood, but the surgeon looks inside. "Oh yeah, I know what that is. This kind of abscess is like this, or this kind of tumor is like that." These are interpretations. Everything we learned at school, we were being trained to interpret according to the parameters, the shaping of our cultural assumptions. So this is very important, because a big obstacle can arise for all sentient beings, but particularly maybe for Western people, because our education has been so materialistic that there are real objects out there and science can give an objective account of them. And if you follow these guidelines, you will know exactly where you are. But the Buddhist teaching is putting that into question. It's saying the thoughts you have tell you about your capacity for thought formation. They don't arrive at the object. So when we say prajnaparamita, it's not that the insight or the wisdom has taken you to the truth of the object. It's taken you to the truth of the mind, because all objects are experienced and are revealed as experience. This can be quite difficult to understand. It's not saying everything is just your imagination. It's only the mind, because the mind is interpreting the raw material. What it's saying is, you always cook your experience. You heat it, you add herbs and spices, you cook it according to age, gender, education, cultural interest, whether you have a disability, whether you have poor eyesight, or you're deaf, or you have to stay in a wheelchair. There are so many factors which come in to how you construe or bring together what is going on. So we looked before at the 5 skandhas, or the 5 heaps or ingredients. And the 4th one is compounding, bringing together the evidence which is acquired through our mind exploring through the senses and our conceptualization. It's mixing perception through the senses and conception through the mind, and these two being packaged into particular shapes is then what is considered by consciousness. We are conscious of our interpretation of the situation.